Hey, welcome to Wrestling in a Movie. Have we got a treat for you today? Dave just decided to have a computer malfunction, and I don't know what's going on, but we have special guest Marshall Briggs of the Coastal Wrestling Federation, the principal owner of the Coastal Wrestling Federation. Thank you, Marshall, for coming on.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Absolutely. I'm glad to see that Dave made it back with us. So that's good.
Yes,
I'll make no sudden movements because evidently my camera doesn't know how to react.
I don't I don't know what the hell that was. That was, well, wow. So, Marshall Briggs, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Really
appreciate the
appreciate
time for
you
sure.
coming on. As I stated, principal owner of Coastal Wrestling Federation, and also has allowed Dave and I to come in and do our pre-shows, our post-shows,
Mhm.
and really gave us an insight into wrestling and promises a lot more tonight. So I can't wait to hear what he has to say. But let's go all the way back to little Marshall, young Marshall. What, when did the wrestling bug hit you?
The wrestling bug hit me on a Monday night in 1998.
Wow.
Uh, Steve Austin had just won the WWF Championship, and Vince McMahon was going to make him the corporate rattlesnake.
Ah,
And I just happened to be scrolling through, and he had just he did something like he ripped his coat jacket or something. And then he said, I want you to pose for Stone Cold. And he hit him with a bag tag
Oh,
and took a
geez.
picture of him and ripped the suit off. And I was like, what the heck is this? And I was hooked. So that was my first Monday Night Raw
Nice.
was the Vince
wow.
and Stone Cold angle.
Oh
Man,
my
nice.
God. And yeah, boy,
Yeah.
did they have a lot going on with that.
Yeah. And of course, being a WWF kid, I was anti WCW. So anything to do with them, I didn't want to watch.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That was me.
Wow. Um, you trained with Sika, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I was part of Sika's last class that he trained before he
Oh,
shut the school down.
That is that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about that. How that came about, how working with this school.
Yeah, so I was still active duty in the Air Force. I was still a young kid back then, and decided to use my GI Bill. You're a vet, you know what that
Yeah.
is. So I was
right.
like, let me use this free money sitting out here. And so I had messed up one of the forms to get my stipend for one of my books. And so I ended up posting my PlayStation 3, I think it was, on Craigslist or something like that, back when that was
Yeah.
a thing. And this dude responded and said, "Hey, I'll buy that off of you." And I looked at his profile and saw that he was a wrestler. He ended up not being anything advertised, but nonetheless, um, we made a deal. It's like, "Hey, you get me in the business, and I will. You can just have my PlayStation." And
Right.
so that's what we did. Shortly after meeting this individual, that's where I met Van Christopher and Nathan Sims. And
Wow.
so Van is actually the one that introduced me to Sika.
Oh wow.
So,
Wow.
because
Okay.
Van had been one of his students for a long time. And so when I got there to Sika School, it's where I met Marcus Gibbs, and he had a hand in training me. And really, Marcus and Sika were the ones that really had a big hand in getting me trained. And then, Van and I came up together. We basically graduated the same time and
Oh, wow.
had our first chops the same time. It was one of the last shows that Sika ran because his promotion was XW 2000. Before
Hmm.
that, it was Epic Championship Wrestling, I think is what it was called. And they ran in a San Jose County auditorium. So
Oh wow.
my first match
Wow.
was in the building that we currently run, which is really cool.
Oh
Nice.
excellent.
Um,
Wow.
That's cool. That's
yeah, so I remember it like it was yesterday. Me and Van were backstage, and if you go on my Instagram, you'll see pictures pre-match and post-match of me and Van together. Back then, I wasn't Marshall Briggs; I was Dustin Briggs, and there's more to that story.
right.
But I remember it like it was yesterday. Van was in the ring, and part of Sika's initiation was you got chopped, and you went to
Mm.
Chop City, as we call it.
Oh God.
So
Oh, man.
they
No.
got Van in the corner, and Marcus actually pulled his shirt over his head
Uh,
and chopped him like three times. And I'm just like, ha, they got him. They're not going to get me. And it was like a
Uh-huh.
battle royal. Threw him over the top rope.
Oh, geez.
And then it's my turn. And I remember Marcus looking at me. He's like, I love you. I'm sorry. And he laid in the hardest chop to date that I've ever had. And if you go on my Instagram, you'll see a handprint right here
Oh,
from
Yeah.
Marcus's hand. And
Oh,
so
wow.
that was their signal that we were ready to work, because we always knew once they chop you, at least in that school, that's them giving you their stamp of approval. So that's how it started.
That's
And
a hell
that's
of a
why
stamp.
literal stamp. But that's why the auditorium is so special to us, is because,
Right.
that's where Sika ran. That's the house that he built for wrestling.
That is
And
awesome.
that's where I started. So
Oh,
Wow,
that
that's
is
great.
really cool. Now, you just alluded to something that you were not always the marshal.
yeah.
Where where did the change happen from Dustin to
Okay. So it's really strange and kind of funny. So in wrestling school, we had to come up with characters, and I was one of the first students in my class to buy gear.
Oh,
I
nice.
bought some cheap gear off of like High Spots or something, the generic stuff. It was black tights with gold trim.
Right.
You see behind me a lot of Purdue Boilermaker merch. That's where I grew up in
Mm.
Indiana. Their colors are black and gold. I was like, I'm going to be in black and gold gear.
Right. Right.
So Sika at this time, his English wasn't the best always. And Marcus had told him, hey, Ben's from Indiana. And he's like, who? And he's like, this guy, Dustin. He's like, oh, okay. Sika thought he said India. So Sika thought I was Indian the whole time,
Okay.
which, I'm biracial, and a lot of people don't know I'm like Fez from that 70s show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, I guess I could see how he thinks I'm Indian. He's like, you're gonna be my Indian brother. And I was like, Sika, I'm not Indian. Excuse me. So anyway, Marcus goes, I think, because I grew up on a farm in real life. Like I grew up
Right.
out in the country,
Right.
surrounded by a cornfield, and I have always worn cowboy boots and Wranglers, and that's always been my thing since as long as I can remember. And that's what I wore when I first met Marcus. And so he's like, I think there's something there. So I think also, if you go on my Instagram, guys, there's so much history about Briggs there. You just got to scroll down a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
But that's actually where I started. Was Dustin Briggs was my name.
Hmm.
And so Dustin came from one of my best friends. His name was Dustin. And he was one of the few
Nice.
people that supported me chasing this dream.
Oh, yeah. You got to have somebody that helps you or supports
He was
you.
the one. And Briggs was actually a name that I had randomly picked on one of the WWE games back in the day. So
wow.
Dustin Briggs is where that came from. So
Really cool.
yeah, so my first promo picture you'll actually see is actually who I ended up being almost 10 years later.
Wow.
Is Marshall Briggs looks like Dustin Briggs back in the day. Now, when I started
Wow.
wrestling, though, had no idea what my character was going to be. Our first show after Chop City, our first show, actually, I went out with a T-shirt, my black and gold trunks, and some
Mhm.
sunglasses. I was like, we're just going to see how this goes.
Right.
And I'm walking around the ring, and this elderly, she wasn't elderly, but you'd say cougar, I guess you would say. I guess Marcus heard her say, yes, please, as I was walking by. And so he told me that. And so I made it into a T-shirt. So the first Dustin Briggs shirt, it says, yes, please, with sunglasses on it, and
Oh,
my
that's
autograph on the back. I still have one left.
Nice.
awesome.
So I start out as Dustin Briggs. So even when the CWF started up, that name carried over. And then it just so happened my arch nemesis, Nathan Sims, was the catalyst behind Dustin turning into the Marshal.
Really?
So there was a group back in the day called Prophecy that he was a part of. It was Nathan Sims and Michael Hart is his name now,
Right.
but his name was Michael Darkheart, and a darker version of who he is now. There was some stuff going on, and all of a sudden the lights went out and that thunder hit, and then here comes not Dustin but Marshall, because he stands for law and order.
Nice.
So technically I'm still Dustin Briggs. Marshall is my title.
Right.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
The Marshal Dustin. You know, that is cool. That is wow. So you have
And
a lot of history with Sims.
we'll get into this later, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but the Marshall comes from my favorite movie, which is Tombstone, which is who
Yes.
Marshall Briggs is loosely based off
Right.
of.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and I'm gonna just not go all the
Excuse
way
me.
into it, but I just gonna make a little point about that. Dave and I were talking beforehand, and it's like, man, I see it. I know exactly why. I see the character
Right.
from
Right.
this, and it's an awesome movie. And folks, we'll be talking about Tombstone a little later, and
Yeah.
you will
Yeah.
definitely, if once you see the Marshall wrestle and see his on in-ring performance and persona, you'll understand why Tombstone
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely.
is an important piece.
It,
Oh, wow.
it made so much sense. Like as soon as you said Tombstone, we were both like, "That's yeah, it's perfect." We knew exactly why. You know?
Yeah, that's people's he's Undertaker knockoff. I'm like, no, there's
No,
no Undertaker at all involved with this
no, not at
character. You
all.
just have to
No.
Not
know
at
the
all.
movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes complete sense.
It
I do
does.
want to ask a quick question.
Sure.
Um, when you're starting CWF, the only way I can ask this is bluntly, and I'm going to may sound very naive. Um, why did you start with a wrestling company, a wrestling federation, rather than something easier like a restaurant? I mean, notoriously known for being a pain in the rear end to start, but
Yeah.
like it seems like it's got to be a love that you had. It has to be like something you were just like, I'm desperate to do this, and nothing in hell is going to stop me.
Yeah, so obviously I wanted to get into the business. I had a love for performing. Just started. I mean, I started CWF maybe 2 or 3 years into my career.
Uh,
Um,
Wow.
what happened was some things happened with Sika that I won't get into.
Hmm.
He had some health issues, so on and so forth. So when he shut the school down, so too did he shut down his promotion. Now,
right.
you guys know Rosie from Rosie and Jamal, if you've watched for a while, back in the mid 2000s.
Mhm.
Um, 3 Minute Warning was another faction he was in. So that was one of Sika's relatives. I believe it's his one of his sons. So it's Roman Reigns' brother.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
Matt was his name, Matt Onawai. So Matt passed away early, prematurely.
Hmm.
And so when Sika was ready to hang it up, the plan was for Matt to take over Epic/XW 2000 the school.
Mhm.
So Matt passed away. Some things went downhill with Sika. And so when the school closed, so did the promotion.
Oh,
So at that time, there wasn't really anywhere else to go that seemed to have what I was looking for. So me being what I am, military person, I've always lived by, okay, now I've identified a problem. What's your solution?
right.
And
Right.
I have that same train of thought with like people I deal with at my job and people I
Mhm.
deal with in CWF. Okay, you presented me a problem. What's your solution? So my solution was, I think I can do this. I think I can do it better. And so I selling stuff, right? So I had a four
Right.
wheeler I had just bought, sold the four wheeler to get some capital to start the company, and then I rented my ring from another promoter in Pensacola.
Okay.
And that ring was rough, guys. Like
Mhm.
every bump somebody took, there were chips of wood just
Oh
falling on the ground
gosh.
underneath. Like it was
Oh,
disintegrating.
yeah.
But we had our
Yeah.
first event up in Century, Florida, in this big ass helicopter building, and like it was an old helicopter factory.
Right.
Right.
And by the end of the show, there was nothing left of that ring, man. But
Oh, crap.
um, we didn't have a good house. I didn't know how to promote. I didn't know how to advertise and do all that
Right.
stuff, right? So we lost some money on that show. Excuse me. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I have pup kids and they're in here as well. So sorry
No,
about that, guys.
no, I do not. We're good.
Oh, my
So
dogs keep walking back and forth. So,
Yeah, I think I'm just used to hearing dogs.
yeah.
yeah, they're just like, oh, dad's on a podcast. Let's make as much noise as we can.
Yeah,
So anyway,
exactly.
we didn't do too well. I say I didn't do too well because I was the only
Right.
one bankrolling this thing. So I kind of sat back. It's like, okay, this didn't go too well. What do we do now? Well, let's give it another shot. So we scheduled to run Century again. It was in December, like December 13th was our scheduled event. Well, that was when one of those random southern snowstorms came through.
Oh
Oh,
my
geez.
God.
Yeah.
So, like a week before there was a snowstorm, the city, which Century's not very big if you're familiar,
Right.
canceled their Christmas parade because of the snow. And what night did they reschedule it to?
Oh
The
The
13th.
no.
same night as our show.
Wow.
So I had a roster of guys, and we had maybe 15 people at the show that night.
Oh man.
And so I had more wrestlers than I had fans in the building. So, excuse me, obviously didn't do too well. So, got knocked down again. I was like, damn, this is really, really hard. So, ended up taking, maybe 5 or 6 months off and reassessing things and really looking at this as a business. Like, how can
Right.
I be smart about this next thing? So that's when we started in Navarre. And the event was CWF Resurrection.
Yeah. Good name.
And so,
Okay.
yeah, we ran at the Navarre Conference Center, which, if you're familiar with Navarre, it used to be right behind the Days Inn by the Taco
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Right.
I've been
Right.
to events in there. It's not
Yeah,
huge.
not huge at all.
No.
I want to say our first show, we had about 36 people, which was big for Navarre because Navarre is not typically a wrestling town. So that's where we kind of started and went off. But to get back to your question, Dave, it was one of those things where I really want to wrestle. However, I still owe the Air Force this many years of my contract, which means I can't travel. I can't go to Tampa to go to school or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
The school just shut down. So how can I give back to the business that I love? This is how I can start a promotion. And so that's kind of where the CWF got its roots is I wanted to provide a platform for people to chase their dream. I
Right.
can't chase mine, right, of making it up there. But if I can help someone else have a platform to get started, that's better than a platform that I had to start, then I
Right.
can feel
Yeah.
like I gave back.
That is awesome.
That's
Yeah.
that's great. But what I gotta ask you, but the story that you told, you had two bad shows in a row and you took the time off. What made you at that point say, no, screw it? Other people, was it just the thought that other people need to see this, other people need this push, and I'm the guy to do it? Or was it more like, I refuse to give up because I have a good idea and I know it's going to work? Or was it a little of both? I like to get into a mindset of why people just keep pushing. Like Henry Ford never gave up. He just kept
Mm-hmm.
pushing. Everybody said he was crazy. He's like, okay, I'm crazy, and kept
Right.
pushing. So what was that sort of what you were doing? You just thought, hey, this needs to happen, and I am the only guy here that's going to do it.
So it's a combination of that, really. I'm pretty stubborn and hard headed for the most part. My parents will be glad to tell you that.
Yeah, yeah,
But the way to motivate me is to tell me that I can't do something because
right.
I'm stubborn and petty enough to be like,
Mm.
okay,
Who
I've
does that
censored
sound
myself.
like?
Okay, bro,
Sounds
let
like
me
a couple
prove you
people I
wrong.
know.
Right. So that was part of it. There were people who said, you'll never be able to run here. You'll never draw.
Right.
And we'll get into this soon in a little bit, maybe, but there were people that tried to sabotage the CWF on numerous times,
Oh yeah.
numerous
Wow.
different occasions because I didn't ask permission to run a
Oh my
promotion, which,
God. It's not the mafia.
Yeah.
it's not the mafia,
It's just petty.
and Vince did away with the territories a long time ago. Now, if
Right.
this were the territory days,
Right.
that's how it was. You were
Right.
considered an outlaw mud show or an
Mhm.
outlaw show if you ran without asking the promoter for that territory.
Right. Right.
Territories are gone. So that was part of it. I'm like, okay, you want to try to shut me down? Watch this. I'm going to
Right.
continue to build and continue to grow. So that's what it was, man, is I'm into this. This is something I'm passionate about. And people have told me I can't do it, so I'm going to prove them wrong. And then the last part of it is, I remember my grandma. She's long passed away, 2011.
Mhm.
One thing she always said was, "If you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life." So it's always been my goal. It continues to be my goal
Yeah.
for the CWF to be my full-time gig, where I love what I do and it's fun, and that's the goal. So.
from my point of view, it absolutely shows that you have fun. It is a business, but you're having fun at a business. And like you said, if you're doing something that you love, you're not working. Everybody that I've seen come through your roster so far always looks like they're having a blast. How, and I know you have to have a dynamic going on with all the other wrestlers. How do you keep them all like on the same wavelength, especially wrestlers that aren't sticking around for a long time, like coming in
Yeah.
for maybe one or two shows or what have you? How do you keep them like, okay, this is my vision, this is how I got to do it? Is it like wrangling puppies and kittens, or is everybody just kind of going, okay, I get it. I see what you're asking me to do. All right.
So I would say anyone who, so there's different roles in wrestling, of course. You've
Mhm.
got your promoter, your booker, which those are two separate roles.
Right. Right.
You also have your talent. And so it's very difficult for some people to see a vision if they've never been in that promoter slash booker role.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Makes
just to
sense.
kind of throw it back a little bit, because I'm a student of the game, right? If I want to be successful at something, I'm going to learn the history of it and learn from those titans that paved the road for where we are today, right?
Right.
So, excuse me, I'm getting over whatever's going around. So sorry for the constant drinking.
I'm still doing the same thing. I got it. I understand completely.
But it's one of those things. It used to be you had the promoter, which his or her job is promote.
Right. Right.
The booker is to do what the promoter says, like, hey, I want this, this, and this. Now it's the booker's job to achieve that goal. Um, then you have the talent. Back in the day, it was you did what the booker told you to do, or you left the building.
Right.
That was
Right.
it. But there weren't as many places to work back then. It was a lot harder to get into the business. Very easy now to get into the business. Almost anybody can do it, depending on what school you go to, or if you go to a school or not. I mean, you
Mhm.
go on any social media and you'll see places booking guys that have no business being on the other side of the guardrail.
Oh,
They should be at concessions. They're untrained, and it's just some bookers,
Dangerous.
or promoters.
yeah.
They'll get a tax return, they'll buy a ring, and think they can run a show. And so it's important to me to make clear to anyone that wants to work with us
Oh,
that this promotion is different. So we do have a business mindset. Like,
right.
you know,
Right.
when it comes to booking talent, everyone has their own worth, right? Like, I think I'm worth $70. I think I'm worth $300.
Mhm.
Okay, that's great. Let's say I pay you $100 and tickets are $10 a piece. Are you going to bring in at least 15 fans so that I can make a profit?
Right. Right.
Otherwise, I'm just paying you, but there's no return on that investment. And so if you
Mhm.
don't look at this as a business, you're not really doing anybody any good. Now,
Right.
on the flip side of that, if I'm a talent, you want to look at like who's on the card. Like, what is this flyer going to look like? Who am I going to be next to?
Mhm.
Because when someone wants to come work for us, I go look at your social media. I see what kind of flyers you're on, what events you're working. Does your look, does your brand match our brand, what we have here? And so I'm clear up front, like, hey, what's your proposed rate? Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Right.
Okay, that's great. Maybe we can work to that. But right now, my fans have no clue who you are. You're not going to sell that much in tickets. So this is where we can start. Do we have an agreement? And so that transparency is the first thing that I like to do. And then I will send talent a list of here's our rules in the locker room. If you
Mhm.
agree to this, then we can do business with each other. I won't disclose what that is because that's behind the scenes,
Yep.
but that really kind of lays the groundwork. Like, here's the expectation. Here's
Mhm.
how we do business.
Mhm.
Here's what I'm going to pay you now. Here's what we can agree to pay later. And if we can come to terms, then we'll do business together and work
Right.
together.
Right. Makes sense.
So that kind of gets people in the door. So when it comes to it is like herding cats a lot of times because to be honest, you have to have a huge ego to do what we do.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. I
so
imagine.
when you get a lot of alpha personalities and huge egos in the same room and try to get them to do the same thing, it's hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so one of the biggest challenges I've had to learn to overcome is teaching talent like, hey, a lot of times talent will have concerns like, well, this is going to make me look bad, or this is going to damage my character, or this blah, blah,
Right,
blah, blah,
right.
blah. And I'm like, listen, I'm a businessman. This is a business. It does me no good for me to book you or put you in a light that does not make money or have a potential to make money.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I'll tell people, I need you to trust the process. I need you to trust the creative, because we tell stories in the CWF. That's what makes us unique, is we are very storyline driven.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Um,
are.
you won't typically see matches thrown together unless something catastrophic has happened before.
All right.
But you have to understand that by me booking you, I'm in this. That's an investment for my business into you.
Mhm.
So a good businessman doesn't make bad investments. So I have to book you to where you'll ultimately look good, to where the business will look good, and the
Mhm.
person you're working with is going to look good. Now, there'll be times when you have talent that I don't want to do that. Okay, well, I don't have anything for you then.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or what's your alternative idea that you have
Right.
so that we can work together? Um, that's probably the most difficult part is, and I get it. People want to protect their spots. People want to look good. But, if you go back, and me and Sims, and when we were on good terms, we would talk about this all the time,
Mhm.
is if you look at Briggs' past, he's lost almost 90% of his matches.
Yeah.
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 He has. So, but Briggs still gets a reaction when he goes out.
Of
Oh,
course he
definitely.
does.
So
Definitely.
it's about presentation and how it's about what you do at the time you're allotted on that card.
Right, right.
And that's the biggest thing is guys have to understand is, I don't know how their promotions run.
Mhm.
I know how I run, and I know my intent is to make you the biggest possible star you can be and get you as many eyes as possible that I can get on you. I don't know if that answered your question or not. I kind of went on a
No,
little bit.
it did, and you actually went and surpassed my original question by like a little bit more background and a little bit more why you do things, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm glad you answered it that way because a lot of things in my head, not maybe for anyone else, but in my head, it cleared up a lot of things, a lot of questions that I had. Um,
Damn, I just grenaded the whole interview with one
right.
answer. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
No,
It's
no,
all
no.
good.
There is one big question. I don't know, Scott. I've been
Yeah, I
talking.
wanted to
Sorry,
expand
go
a
ahead.
little bit
Get in
on
there.
this because
Yeah.
because you talk about stories, and I'm the type of wrestling fan that, yes, I want to see wrestling, but I need to see a reason why. I want to know
Mhm.
why the guys or the
Right.
gals are in the ring. What brought them to the fight? What got us there? And if there's not a good enough compelling reason, as we were talking earlier about Raw, uh, it's not something I want to see. So,
Right.
and that I do appreciate that you lean into the stories. We get some cool stuff here. Um, are you that pretty much the head of creative as well? Are you writing these stories?
Yeah, so I've been the head of creative since day one. I do have some input with my buddy Josh. He helps out,
Hmm.
and Tim, my lighting and sound guy. I'll bounce some things off of him
Hmm.
and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" I do take input from talent sometimes on, this is what I have in mind for you. What ideas do you have? Sometimes I don't, though. Sometimes I hold that close to the chest because, kind of to the last answer, you'll tell someone, "Hey, this is a creative for tonight." I don't want to do that.
Mm.
Okay, well, if you tell them that creative before they come to the show or before they drive to the venue, some may turn around. I actually had a
Oh,
person just no show because they didn't
Wow.
like the creative, which is very unprofessional. But
yes.
sometimes you have to hold that close to the chest. But
Mhm.
again, they have to understand that this is a business, and my job as the booker in that aspect and the head of creative is to make this compelling. Like you said, if you don't have a reason to watch and you're not bought in, why would you watch?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I want to know why you're fighting over some shoes. That's all, or
Right.
nipples.
And
Right?
so that goes back to the first Raw I saw with Austin and Vince. It's like, why did you
Yeah.
just hit that guy in the balls?
Yeah.
Who are these people? What are they doing?
I gotta
Yeah.
know.
What
Yeah.
what is this?
What's
Right.
going
And
on?
so that's a big thing with the CWF. Crestview, if you're watching, listen, I know our last event was long. like 3 hours. And there's this one guy who doesn't pay attention to the clock named Marshall Briggs who went extremely long in his match and segment. But this goes along with the story, right? So we were at a very important point in the long-term storytelling of who attacked Briggs.
Right.
So as we're telling that story, and I've been in this long enough to be able to feel the crowd to where, okay, I've got him hooked.
Yeah.
So now they're bought into this. So let's see how much juice we can squeeze out of this.
Right.
To really build to the next thing. So that's why, if you go back and watch, I'm really selling that, looking at Jack and waiting for him to beg off. And I'm looking at Colt, and then I'm looking at the crowd, and it's very slow, but it's intentional.
It didn't
and
feel
if you
slow,
go back,
though.
No,
it didn't feel slow. And you guys are in the crowd. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
it didn't feel slow.
And feel free to. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I'm not going to correct you.
No, please do. In this aspect, please do.
I'm not correcting you at all, sir. I've seen what people
Hey,
you do.
Dave said one day, I'm going to get this out here real quick before I forget. Dave said he would go through a table for the podcast. All I'm saying.
For the podcast.
I'll keep that in mind.
After I'm completely healed and when my leg is healed, I will be more than happy to do that.
I will keep that in mind, Dave.
I'll not let my wife see this because that will be a secret. That'll be the thing that I come back and I'll be like this. She'll be, what happened? Oh, Marshall Briggs or somebody threw me through a table.
Don't say that. The one time we get a sponsor, they'll back out. So, gosh, I don't know. Like you feel the crowd is buying into this.
Right.
And I know what the next step is going to be. So I'm just like, let's really dig into this because they're hooked with this right now. So we went a little long. I feel like it kind of paid off at the end for those fans that did stick around for that long show.
Yes.
But that's the thing is that sets us apart from other promotions is we are so invested in storylines and storytelling.
Right.
And that's something that I feel is missing from wrestling today is there's no characters anymore. Everyone is a first and last name.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's over the top, and what stories can you dig into? We were talking about a storyline earlier that I'm not going to mention, but it's like you didn't need to add that element. The story was right there.
Right. Right.
Right.
And sometimes it's so easy to tell a story and it doesn't have to be convoluted. It can be very simple because listen, a lot of our lives is too complicated as it is. Give me something simple to bite into.
That's what Scott's always saying. When we go to these shows, we buy in. Like I'm the kid with my nose over the fence watching The Secret, watching the guys play ball in the back.
When I'm there,
but I don't know what they're doing. Like I have no idea what they're doing. So I just go back and, play with my Tinker Toys until the game's on. When I'm watching the game, it's reality. That's a complete reality. I submerge myself into that 12-year-old kid. And I'm going to bring him up again. Here he comes. I'm watching Dick the Bruiser beat the hell out of a guy in the ring. That was my guy back in the day. That's who I am again. So I watch this stuff and I get excited. I'm watching somebody get hit. I'm watching the ref have his back turned. It's like, no, turn around. I'm yelling.
Where do you get these refs?
Turn around. He's right there.
I got to talk to the HR department who's hiring our refs because they're terrible sometimes. But it's, like that's the thing is one thing that Sika did teach us, and he's old school, he's very old school. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Was our job is to suspend disbelief.
Right.
And, going back to that segment at the last event, the fact that everyone involved in that segment had bought in themselves and felt in the moment themselves.
Right.
And if you go back and watch Jay Blanchard's reaction to Jack, he was feeling it. So if those of us that are performing feel it, you bet your ass those people in the crowd are feeling it.
Yeah.
So that's why we just kept rolling with it. And that's what makes it special.
And it works.
So do you do that a lot on the fly? As you're out there listening to the crowd, does that change anything on where you were going to go with it, or with not just that storyline, but any of them? Is there like times that the crowd makes you second guess or change something?
There are some times, yes. What I'll tell you about my promo specifically, I have nothing planned when I go out. I have no clue what I'm going to say. I may have one or two bullet points. I'm out there just feeling the crowd and feeling what the vibe is in the ring because and I tell a lot of our younger guys this, and it really depends on how you were brought up. But like Jay, for example, I'm one of Jay's main trainers and have really been instrumental in helping him get ready. One thing I trained Jay, and one of our referees is a trainee. You can probably tell who it is, the younger guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, listen to the crowd, especially in our area. They will tell you exactly what they want to see and what they don't want to see. And so the problem is, if you watch WWE right now or any of the other promotions, really, a lot of it is, and I'll use the same analogy that I've always used. A lot of it is alphabetic wrestling, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right.
And I get that because you've got to hit your cues for TV. You've got to have a certain camera angle. I get that. And that's a lot of justification I hear. But here's my counter to that. They didn't work that way back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
No.
Nope.
So if they called it in the ring, and if you listen to any of these Hall of Famers, Hogan, Brett, Shawn, Taker, Austin, Rock, Kane, even go back further to Dusty, Rich, Dutch Mantel, all these guys, even Sika, call it in the ring, brother. I can hear him in my head now.
Yeah.
If they could work that way back then and still be on TV, why can't we do the same thing today? Because here's the problem, and here's what I tell younger guys, and there's going to be people out there watching that disagree with me. We'll just agree to disagree, brother. But the fact of the matter is this: if you go out there with a match planned A to Z, and that's not what that crowd's feeling that night, you have to know how to pivot and ad lib to what you're doing in the ring to what they want to see. Because if you don't, you're going to see what you see on TV a lot now. And what do you see? There's dudes flying off the rafters and doing planchas and all that. What's the crowd doing? They're sitting like this. Or they're doing this.
Oh, God, I see that so much when I'm watching TV. It's like, oh, my God, you paid that much money to look at your phone.
Look at your phone. And it's because they're not bought in, because they see the same stuff every week. And it looks too much like a dance. And to be honest, that's my biggest gripe. And anyone that's worked for me will back me up on this. I tell them, I actually appreciate if something doesn't look perfect.
Right.
Because it's more real.
If that punch doesn't connect, guess what? In real life, hardly any of your punches are going to connect if you're if you're really fighting, right?
Right.
And so if I'm supposed to suspend your disbelief, Scott or Dave, then would you really believe that everything is going to look perfect and crisp and you're going to be in just the right spot when I jump? No, it's not. And so that's the old school part of me that really I feel is kind of dying off in our business, is like, dude, just listen to the crowd. Have your spot, like your midpoint, or your beginning, your midpoint, and your ending, and fill everything else in. So, and I'm going to peel the curtain back more than I like to. But if you go any Sims and Briggs match, they're all called in the ring. Any of my matches with Justin Flo, we called it in the ring. My match 2 weeks ago with Colt, we called everything in the ring.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the first couple times that Colt has worked that way. And it's the first time me and him have worked in the ring together.
Right.
But we got backstage like, dude, that was a blast.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was great.
When I worked Jay, what was that, 2 months ago or whatever, I called that whole match in the ring with him. And so now he knows, like, okay, this is what I can do. Because say he works a guy that is trained to work the WWE style, great, he can still learn that style, but now he knows, okay, if somebody gets hurt, if the crowd's not feeling, if something goes awry, now I know to listen to the crowd and pivot to that, as opposed to freeze up and not know what to do because I can't get from step C to step D.
Right. And well, it's like when you all had the ladder match a while back, that complete accident, one of the guys got hurt. And I remember seeing it going, I was like, holy crap, that's a hit. That was a solid hit. But you had Orion and Jack, they just kept going on. And I felt so sorry. I felt sorry for Bryce, but I felt even more sorry for the two in the ring that couldn't roll out of the ring to take a break. I'm like, crying out loud, I can't imagine how beat up those guys were by the end of that.
Oh my God,
fight.
yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Funny story.
Just dying by the time it was over.
funny story, and he's gonna hate me for telling this story, and I know
Uh-oh.
he's gonna watch this. And just know, brother, I'm laughing my ass off because I know you're
Oh
gonna be
no.
pissed. So I also trained Rob Ocho, and
Oh
so
yeah.
from day one. And so one of his first matches, we were doing a fundraiser show for Tristan, the kid who unfortunately was paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were up in somewhere in hot ass Alabama in the middle of the
Mhm.
summer, and we were outside. And so me and Sims were working this match. We were opponents. And so I think I was on the team with Ocho, and Sims was teaming with Manimal at the time.
Oh geez, yeah.
And so it was hot. We were sweating. And me and Sims just like, I'm tired. And so we were in some hold, and I was like, fight to the back. And he's like, what? I was like, fight to the back. So me and Sims fight backstage, and we just abandon Ocho and Manimal in the ring to
Oh,
fend for
no.
themselves. So we're back there sipping water, just like, oh man, it's hot.
Pouring
Look
water
at
on
them
your head.
go.
Jeez, that
Oh,
feels
they look
good.
tired. So
They're out there.
like 2 or 3 minutes go by. It's like, all right, let's go back out there.
Oh,
And
that's
so we
great.
go back out there. To this day, if you ever ask Ocho, he's like, man, they set me up. They set me up. So
Definitely going to have to talk to him about that.
we
That's funny.
have some fun, man. Like you say guys are having fun. Like our roster, I will say, love what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're especially our guys from Dark Arts that have come in, tremendous athletes,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
tremendous talent, and
How did
they've
that
really
happen?
elevated that.
How
I'm
did
sorry.
how did that connection happen?
So that connection came through Orion. So we actually did business with Orion and Ellie. Back then he was Blanco Loco. I want to say back in just before COVID,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
we had Blanco come in. And so we had just did some business. COVID happened, didn't work together much. And I just reached out, we reconnected, and he's like, hey, so I'm one of the coaches at Dark Arts, and I got some guys looking to have some exposure in front of a crowd.
Oh man,
And then
great.
that's how they ended up
Awesome.
coming up there. And so
So good.
I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe a lot of those guys, we were their first match in front of like an actual audience outside of their school. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe
yeah,
so, though. But again, like the CWF was built off of, like I said, opportunity.
You're right.
Because
Right.
I had an opportunity, mine kind of went away. So now I'm going to pay that forward and give these guys an opportunity. So that's why you see like we go through the expense of booking Moose and Casey Navarro and like those big names that aren't cheap by any means.
That's
Oh, I
amazing.
can't
Buddy,
imagine.
that you
Yeah.
got those names. Now, see, Scott's way more into all the bigger shows. Like I haven't
Mhm.
watched WCW, I haven't watched WWE. I watch some of the local stuff on YouTube. I watch those shows because I find that for me, it's very entertaining.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Scott's telling me when Moose shows up, no, the thing was when Casey Navarro first showed up, I'm like, oh, this is a new guy. And Scott's like, you don't know who this guy is. I'm like, no, I have no, who is he? And he had to explain to me who he is. How the hell did they get him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Moose shows up. I'm like, I have no idea who this is. That's a big guy.
Twice.
You don't know who that guy is. I was like, nope, don't know
Yeah.
who that guy is either.
And it's been cool. Like, you know, we had Casey, we actually had plans for Casey to come back
Right.
at Proving Ground.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got hurt. He had that knee
Yeah.
injury. And so he was out. And then Moose had just happened to reach out and say, hey, man, do you want to do business again?
Nice.
Could I come back sometime? Which means a lot to me to have someone that's
Yeah.
a former multiple-time world champion working for the second or third biggest promotion in the world
Mhm.
want to come work for me.
That's awesome. Dude.
It
which is a
sounds like
lot.
he is doing what you're doing and playing it forward. You know
He
what I
is.
mean?
He's paying it forward. And I'm not
Definitely.
gonna ruin kayfabe too much, but he is one of the nicest people that I've worked with. Same with KC. You know, you can
Right.
see Navarro just loves what he does, and he's one
You
of the
can
most
see it.
humble dudes. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys were at that show that he worked
were.
with
Yeah,
Flo,
we
but
were.
What he said
speaking
afterwards. Yeah.
of unscripted moments, that was not anywhere on the format for him to say what
Right.
he said about Flo.
Damn. Yeah. He really had some great things to say about Flo. We were there, and it's like that was a hell of a match, and it was very entertaining, and it was disappointing that he got hurt because we were looking forward to him again. But anytime seeing Moose in the ring is always a pleasure too.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's really cool. Like, and I tell the guys backstage, I'm like, look, if if you don't think the guys running TNA or AEW or whoever,
Mhm.
when we had Camille or NWA, when we had Tom Latimer on the show, if you don't
Right.
think the people they work for are at least peeking at the products that they're on, you're crazy.
Well, you
So
have to.
you have an opportunity to have these eyes on you that you're not going to have anywhere else in the Gulf Coast,
Mhm.
giving you this opportunity. So, like, if you're on a flyer with Moose, that's huge, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So when you meet him backstage, of course, regular customs and courtesies, right? But also ask him questions.
Yeah.
Get any advice you can get. Make that rapport, because you never know. They might be looking for an extra or anything like that. Casey Navarro, he'll tell you he got signed because he was in the right place at the right time.
Man.
It can
And
happen
he
to
was
any of
ready.
us.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he was ready to go. And so even with Orion on our card, with him training at Alistair Black School, our guys that aren't his students still have an opportunity for them to be seen by Alistair as some of
Right.
the agents for
Right.
WWE, because they're working his students.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maximize your time in the ring is the biggest thing, or anything on camera. And so we've always been my opportunity. And so that's why we'll go through the great expense to book these people to elevate the guys we do have.
We've always said that whenever we do like the podcast for the shows, that it's probably the best bang for your buck as far as entertainment in this area to go to a CWF show and to support your show. You said you ran a little bit longer in Crestview. I don't think anybody that was still in that room cared about the time.
No.
It was just everybody was so
Those of
involved
us that
in the
stayed,
story.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it was worth. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you spent X amount of dollars, you sat down and you watched 3 hours
We got a hell
of
of a show that night.
guys
Yeah.
beating the hell out of each other and telling a good story. And if you're paying attention, you know what's going to happen in the next one, or you have an idea, your hopes of who's going to win. So it's so well done. It's worth every dime that
Well, we
anybody.
did not predict that ending at all. I don't
No,
think anybody could have predicted that. Oh
no.
my God, that was pure Marshall Briggs right there. That's all.
Yeah, so that's that whole thing, without peeling the curtain back too far,
Right,
that whole
right.
decision was made after doors opened.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
some things real world occurred,
Right,
and some
right.
changes had to be made to accommodate the
Makes sense.
changes for the talent, but also to protect the integrity of our world championship.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
there's no heat, there's no beef. It's just a matter of what's the best thing to do for the company, the talent, and the championship.
Mhm.
Because yes, it is a work, so to speak, but
Mhm.
that title has meaning.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we had to
Of course
protect
it
that.
does.
So that was all made after doors open.
yeah. That's amazing. It was freaking well done.
That would make
The
me so
entire
nervous.
crowd went nuts. The entire crowd went absolutely bananas over that. It's
Yeah,
like,
that
We'll see what
was.
happens in a couple weeks at
right?
Oh
in
yeah,
Right.
Milton.
Looking
yeah,
forward to that.
definitely, definitely are.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you
No, go
one more
ahead.
question, and this may lead into another question.
Of
Sure.
When
course.
when Ellie showed up initially, I think she shows up before Orion. You notice her, Marshall Briggs. You notice her, and you're having the history. Is there a real history there? Did she actually wrestle for CWF before? Or
She
because
did.
I've tried to
Yes.
look for some videos and maybe I just haven't gone back far enough. And I was like, am I making this up in my head? Did I remember it wrong?
No, she worked. I believe at one point she wrestled Blanco Loco on one of our cards as
Oh
well.
wow.
Okay.
And
All right.
this was pre-COVID that they were
Right.
with us.
Okay. I
So
haven't gone
yeah,
back far enough then. Okay.
we go back quite a ways with them, and it's always tremendous to have them on the event, of course. So yeah, there's history there.
You knew who she was. I want to ask her if we ever have her on the show, whether she's taken any acting classes. Because her just walking out and you seeing her entire attitude, her entire demeanor was just, you knew she was the bad guy. You knew
Yeah.
Marshall
She knew how
Briggs
to work it.
at that moment turned face to an
Yeah,
extent.
and
You know?
so that really goes into, and I don't know what our time limit is, but we can talk as long as you guys
We
want.
don't have a time limit.
Perfect. We'll be here till tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
Well, I gotta be at work really early.
So do I. But so that really goes into as well, like, and this is something that I teach people that I'm mentoring or training or whatever.
Mhm.
Is like, no one is going to buy into your character if you don't.
Right,
Correct.
right,
So when that music hits, that lightning bolt strikes, I am Marshall Briggs.
right.
I'm locked in. I'm going out there. I believe everything in that ring to me is 100% real when I'm in that ring, whether
Mhm.
it's a promo, whatever, until I walk back through that curtain. Then I go back to being who I am.
Right.
Briggs is me personally turned up. And that's the same thing with Ellie and a lot of our other talent, and even
Right.
Orion or Justin Flo or Sims, anybody,
Mhm.
Ocho, like, that is who they are. It's just turned up a little bit. And so when we trained Rob, that was one of the big things is like, hey, you have to buy into what you're selling. If you're selling these people bullshit, excuse my language, but if
Right.
you're selling them BS, they're going to be able to tell.
I swear
Yes.
all the time, so go ahead.
Okay, we're good. I'll keep it PG-13.
That'll
Yeah.
work.
Well, I miss Ocho. Me personally, I miss Ocho, and it's not
Mhm.
just for his ability in the ring. It's his ability, and I've said this 100 times, his arguing with children. He argues with little kids like
It's
a
great.
little kid, and the little kids freaking love it. I will sit there and I would listen to them argue, and I'd be dying laughing. I'd be almost crying because they'd say, "Oh, shut up." He'd turn around, "No, you shut up," and they go back and forth, and
That's
I'm
great.
dying. I'm like, he's just turned into a little kid.
Yeah. So,
It's great.
I've got to say, there's few people in this business I have a special place in my heart for. And I tell you what, like, he's a fellow veteran as well,
Right.
continues to serve. And just seeing from the day we first connected,
Mhm.
where he wanted to come to a show and then asked how to get into the business to where he ended up going.
Really?
Um, yeah, it
So he
was
came in as a
tremendous.
fan, saw the show, and was like, "That's kind of what I want to do. Can you train
Wow.
me?" Is
He
that?
actually never made it to a show as a fan. He reached out asking about, hey, are you guys local? Like, I never heard about you guys.
Oh
Oh,
I
wow.
okay.
kind of want to start to join. I kind of want to get in this. How do I get into this? And so that
Oh,
led
okay.
to, hey, come to one of our events and help set up the ring, and we'll see if this is going to be a good fit.
Right.
Um, but just, that is who Rob is. Like, you tell that kid the sky's blue, he's going to argue with you that it's orange. Like, that's just, and me and him, like, he's like my little brother. He
Right.
in real life, Rob Ocho is my little brother, and so
Awesome.
love him to death. And it's amazing to see, like, from his first promo
Right.
in promo class to as comfortable as he is now with a microphone in his hand. I'm telling you guys, it's night and day.
It's
And it
crazy.
just comes from that perseverance. And there's times when, I've pissed him off and just been blunt with him.
Hmm.
And there was a certain video that is private on YouTube, but it is on there, to where before doors, his training for that day was to call out one of his trainers to a promo battle. And he called out Marshall Briggs.
Oh,
And so, um, I told you all my promos were unscripted.
right.
And so I let him go, and then I just eviscerated him. And
Oh no.
I stole a line from CM Punk
Ah,
at the end. I was like, "Your arms are too short to be boxing with God," and I dropped the mic and left.
that's great.
And
What a line.
he was so pissed off that
Oh
he
man.
literally left the building for a while.
Oh
Oh my God.
wow.
Um,
Yeah.
but what I was doing was motivating him. Like, look, you have what it takes. You just got to get better. You got
Yeah.
to stick with it. And so if you look at where he was there to as comfortable as he is now with promos, like you guys are talking about, like how he interacts with the fans and
Mhm.
Yeah.
with everybody else, it's tremendous how far he's come. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to, whenever we do get him back, see where he continues to go. And it's amazing that he's been gone since September.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
still has that Ocho chant every
Yeah.
single live event,
Yeah.
Which
which
is
is
awesome.
wild.
So,
Well,
but when we went to Crestview, we talked to a few people. And it's one of the things that, people were, the surprise of the night would be if Ocho showed up. And it's like, yes, it would
Yeah.
be, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's happening. But it would be awesome.
yeah, everybody's waiting for it. It's going to happen eventually.
You never know when Ocho's going to show up.
It's
No,
going to show up. I can't wait for the pop, man. I can't
it's going to
wait
be
for
so
it.
fun.
Speaking of interacting with kids, it's been a while, maybe a year or two back, but Dave and I were at an event and there was this young boy. I don't know what happened, but he said something to you and you said something back. And all we saw was this kid take off running. He's ripping off his shirt and he's crying. And he comes flying back to attack Marshal Briggs and his parents are pulling him down. It's like, oh, that was
up
beautiful.
in the air, going to go over that.
You made
railing,
that kid so mad.
Parents grabbed him.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap. It was
a
great.
Not one of my prouder moments. Well, actually, I was proud because I was obviously a bad guy then.
That was a Ted DiBiase with the basketball moment.
Here's the thing is like, so I said I'm a student of the game, right? And so regardless of the recent things against this gentleman and what people think of him, Vince was one of the greatest heels in wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so if you watch his documentary, one of the things he said was, in real life, he was poor.
Right.
He hated rich people. He hated people that flaunted their money. What did Mr. McMahon do every night on TV? He's like, you people are jealous because I'm rich and you're not, and stuff like that.
Right.
What he did that made him so effective as a heel was he said things that pissed him off personally. So that's what Briggs does. When I'm a heel and you hear me say something, I'll say something I know upsets me. So if it makes me mad, I know it's going to work with at least 5 people in that crowd that night.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't realize it was that simple. I mean, it's just right there. You don't think of it, but
it's right there.
Little kid was at the next show though.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he was.
I think you like when you walked by, I think you high five them, and that was like the world just changed for him again. He's all ready to like go after you, and you went by and high fived him. He's like, okay, I guess it's over.
He's a fan. We are there to be worked.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I still don't know why. A lot of kids love the Briggs character. I haven't figured out why, but they do, and so I just kind of roll with it. And even when I'm a heel, there's still some that want to cheer for me.
Right.
But then there's some that, like you said, want to come across the railing. So
that poor kid. We were like, oh my God.
Before we get in the movie, I want to ask you about something. I did get far back enough in watching YouTube videos at one point where you as the owner had to make a video that something had happened in one of the shows. It was about probably 6 or 8 months before I started going to the show. So I'm imagining but something bad happened at one of the shows. I wasn't sure exactly what happened, and I don't know if you can actually talk about it, but evidently somebody got out of hand in the crowd and it had to be handled. And
yes,
I was always looking for like, okay, where's this video? I want to see this video.
Where's the drama?
So what happened was we had, I think it was 4 individuals showed up completely lit to the event, and they were dropping F-bombs and just being ugly and being obnoxious and loud, and we have a B word almost every event. It's kind of a running joke now. They're like, oh, we didn't have a bitch yet on this show. So it's usually me or someone else will say it, just comes out. But we try to keep it PG and family friendly. We're conscious that there's kids in the event or in the venue. And then also, we're members of the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. We do fundraisers for the high school. We're part of the community. So I want to make sure that we're presentable.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It just so happened that we were supposed to have the chairman of the CEO, the chairman of the chamber there that night. And I'm just like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. So we actually had the referee and some security escort those gentlemen out. And so I felt compelled to make a video and say, look, this is unacceptable in our live events. And if you can't conduct yourself respectfully, then this is not the place for you. And so I would rather lose money in tickets from having people like that not show up, as opposed to have them there being a liability for one, and just being a bad part of the show.
Well, I think I had said early on whenever we first started doing this, I had said to Scott that I was like, I had to really admire you for doing it because one of two reasons, what you just said, you lose a little bit of money on those guys. But if you don't take care of that problem right away, it's going to spread and people are going to say, it's not family friendly. I don't want to go there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you lose even more money. So take care of the problem, get it out of the room and hope it doesn't come back.
Yeah, and we'll touch on this a little bit, but I did just want to expand it a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
I try to make the CWF different. Like, we don't have beef with any other promotion in our area, and there's
Right.
multiple
Right.
promotions. There's enough fans, wrestling fans, for everybody
Mhm.
to run a promotion. I just know how I do business and how I want our promotion to run. It is a
Right.
business. This
Right.
is not a hobby. Um, we're here to try to make money, make a profit, and grow. So. Um, there's no beef with other promotions, but sometimes people just get insecure, I think, with like, well, look what they're doing over there.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not trying to put you out of business. I'm just trying to do the best I can do for my company
All right.
because I'm invested. I use my GI Bill to go get a bachelor's degree and graduate valedictorian for the CWF.
Nice.
Like, I put in that because I'm
Yeah.
invested in this. And so you're damn right. I want it to be the absolute best that it can be. And so, there's one thing I will say openly, and I don't
Uh-huh.
have a problem saying this, is I'll tell talent, look, I'll never tell you not to work a promotion. I'll never tell you to turn down a booking. But what
Right.
I will tell you in full transparency is depending where that booking is and how you're presented may affect how I book you.
That
Right.
makes
And
sense.
the reason is, like, so if I have you on a card with Casey Navarro or
Mhm.
Orion or Moose or someone like that, and then you go 10 minutes down the road and you're working with someone that looks like they should work at the Waffle House, like,
Right.
that doesn't do anything for our brand. So, like, if you beat someone who looks like they go to the gym and takes care of themselves in the CWF, and then you go lose to someone who is the complete antithesis to that,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That
then
makes
there's
sense.
a
Yeah.
credibility issue there, right? So invest in your brand. Like I tell wrestlers, anyone watching this trying to get into the business, your character is not just your character. That's your brand. If you
Mhm.
come to a CWF show, you're going to see a lot of our talent are selling merch. That's their money, their merch. They keep all of it.
Right.
That's their business. So how do you want your brand to be presented? And just keep that in mind with bookings. Whether if the CWF isn't a good fit for you,
Mhm.
no hard feelings, but I hope you find somewhere to go that you can achieve your dream. But you have to look at this as a business and a business investment. Otherwise, what are you doing?
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, how does somebody how do you just receive like video packages from talent, or do they just reach out, or how does somebody if they're a wrestler is well, let me just back up. As an actor, that's what we do. We have a demo
Mhm.
reel and we just send it out and things like that. Is that kind of how wrestlers work when they're trying to get into promotions?
Yeah, so a lot of times, social media is really big. Like we'll
Mhm.
get people that reach out via Instagram or Facebook, that'll ask about wanting to get booked, and it could be the reverse where I see somebody on a flyer or someone that one of our guys have worked with, or just
Right.
on social media. I'm like, hey, let me check this person's profile out, and if they seem like they'll be a good fit, I reach out. Hey, I'm so and so. Would like to come have you come work with us. But typically they'll reach out to us, and then what I'll ask for is a resume, which is very rare for some people to have. But I
Mhm.
want a resume because I want to see where you've been, what you do,
Hmm.
what you've come from. I want to see links to your matches, and if you have a highlight reel, great. And I want to see promo pictures because that tells me what you're going to look like on my flyer.
Right.
Um, I will say, I don't know if I'm unique with this, but as me as a promoter and a booker, what impresses me more is if someone sends me highlight reels of them losing,
Mm.
because to me that says that you're humble and you understand what we're doing as a business. Like, if you're
Right.
sending me
Right.
everything that makes you look great, that's awesome, but what are you doing for the guy that's in the ring with you, or the gal that's in the ring with you?
Right.
So I would rather someone send me them losing and putting someone else over, as we say in the business.
Mhm.
To me that means a lot more than you sending me, this is how great I am. Cool. Also, show me how great you are helping to further the business when maybe you're not the guy winning.
It makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, because there's so many wrestlers that are fun to watch, and that's pretty much all they do is they get the other person over, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's part of it. It's cool to see.
What's the
Yeah, that's a
Miz
good
been
point.
doing? What's the Miz been doing for the past decade?
Exactly, getting
What did
everybody over.
What did Nick Nemeth do his whole time in WWE?
Mhm.
And he's one of the greatest performers in the world.
Yeah, they got to be
So
humble.
they got to be humble, and that's like I said. Briggs may get his stuff in,
Mhm.
but if you look at his win-loss record, Briggs hardly ever wins matches.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never even put that together until you said that. It's like you are wow.
Yeah, and that's by design. And I only wrestle when I need to. Like it's not about me being in a spotlight.
Right.
It's about furthering these guys. So if there's a reason for Briggs to step into the ring and put on a match, because I know I may not be known to anybody else outside of our arena, but those fans there know who Marshall Briggs is.
Right.
They hold Briggs at a certain level. So if
Mhm.
I can use that to elevate somebody, like what we did with Jay, that first match that him and I had,
Oh
Yeah.
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 what we did with I don't know if you guys were watching the match I had with Donnie in
Yeah.
Pensacola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie beat
Yes.
me.
Oh yeah.
Donnie beat me.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
That's right.
like it's not
Poor Donnie.
about wins and losses.
Poor
It's more
Donnie.
about like what's the story we're telling?
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
That's all we're here to make sense. And real quick before we go to the movie, I know, but if I didn't mention this guy, I would be remiss. I talked about Van Christopher earlier.
Mhm.
And so if I have any regrets, it would be that we didn't put the CWF title on Van before he passed away. And so that was actually one of the steps we were about to take because I just turned him heel and he didn't want to turn heel.
Oh no.
I was like, Van, trust me, brother, we'll make this work.
Yeah.
And the plan was for him to feud with I think Sims was a good guy at the time. Was to feud with Sims for the CWF title. But the D1 title, the joke backstage is the D1 title in some ways means more than the world title.
Mhm.
If you look at that championship belt, it's bigger than the world title. It's newer than the world title.
You're right.
That wasn't necessarily the plan, but when he passed away in August of 23, that he was like I started with him.
Yeah.
He was my best friend in the business. That was one of Sims's best friends in the business. And so that title is our legacy to Van continuing to live on.
Right.
And also a little Easter egg I'll give you guys. If you ever look at our entranceway, there's always going to be one white light shooting up somewhere. And that's our tribute to Van every single show.
I've noticed
Beautiful.
that. I always wondered. I was always thinking. It's
That's
funny because I
awesome.
look at that light and I'm like, somebody forgot to put that out.
Yeah, because I
But that
promised
makes sense now.
I promised his family. I don't know if you guys were at the tribute show we had for him a couple of days after he passed away. I promised his family in the ring. I said we will always let his legacy live on, and we will not let it die.
Mhm.
And so that night we retired. I'm sorry. The current breakout champion vacated the title. We awarded it to Van and retired the title, so he was forever our breakout champion.
Right.
Because that was the first title that he held, and he was the first one to hold it. And then we gave that championship title to his family.
Oh,
and so that's when the Division I title was born. So his legacy will live on. And as far as writing a show, because like I do all the graphic design, I do that. The video editing, I do that. The marketing, the promotion, booking the talent, the creative, all that stuff I do myself. That's why I have a lot of gray hair. Or had a lot of gray hair till somehow I woke up one morning and it was mostly dark.
It's okay.
But,
I'm going bald from that kind of stress. So.
But he passed away like 3 days before that show.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I had to rewrite the entire show into a tribute show. And myself and Sims main evented that match. Main evented that event. And that was the most emotional match I've ever had, but it's also one of the best matches I ever had because we were in there for a reason.
Yeah.
And literally, the way we decided who won that match is we flipped a quarter. Like, who's going to win? Heads, It's me. Tails, it's you.
Right.
And that's what we did. And we called everything in the middle of the ring. And I I hope we did right by Van by doing that. So
I think
yeah, I
so.
had to talk about Van before we
Please,
absolutely.
transition. So
I
Absolutely.
still have a few more wrestling questions though,
yeah,
and I like this one. I hope I don't trip you up too much. But when you work out, what's on your playlist?
wrestling themes.
Wrestling.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
there's a
Yeah,
first. I thought it was
it
going to be
is.
some teen girl pop like we
No,
constantly get.
I will pull it up right now and show you. I don't know
Awesome,
if this is going to show up on the screen. So it's titled Gym Stuff.
awesome. Okay, oh, I
nice.
see it. Randy Orton. Yeah.
So I pretty much listened to the first 6 songs. And if you look there, you've got the
Ah,
final
the Rock,
boss,
Oh, geez.
Roman
Roman
Reigns, Randy
Reigns,
Orton,
Randy
Marshall
Orton,
Briggs in there.
my own,
Yeah, Punk.
uh, Punk,
Nice.
and
Taker.
Ministry Undertaker. So those are pretty
Oh
much
wow.
on repeat the whole time. And
Nice.
that's always been my music because that's where I wanted to be.
Right.
So I'm going to listen to these guys' music because they've made it. They're where I want to be. I'm going to
Right.
use this as motivation to push as hard as I can to try to get there. And so to this day, I still listen to those songs.
Nice.
Now,
Good
did
call.
Yep.
you how did your theme song come about? Did
So my theme song is actually it's kind of funny when I first met Moose, his theme song that he had I don't think he had his so the first time he was with us, he had a certain theme song, right?
Right.
And I said, "Hey, man," I was like, "So your interest theme was the first theme I used when I first started wrestling."
No kidding.
And if you go back on YouTube and watch some early Dustin Briggs matches, that theme song is the same song
oh
that Moose was
wow.
using. And so he's like, I don't remember what he one of his relatives like, bro, my cousin or whoever it was, my cousin made that track.
Oh
I was
wow.
No
like, oh,
kidding.
really?
No kidding.
Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. So we,
That's
we
great.
had that for a while. And then I actually connected with a guy named Mikey Ruckus, who
Mhm.
makes the music for AEW. Um,
Oh, nice.
he wasn't with AEW at the time,
Right. Right.
but he made the first Marshall Briggs song. And then he got signed with Tony Khan. And then he made the second version of my song, and then he made the latest version of my song. So
Oh, that is
Nice.
Mikey's
awesome.
been
That's cool.
Mikey's been so good to me. He made I think he made one of Sims's songs as well, and then Ocho actually one of his friends made his song for him as well. So
Oh, that
Nice.
is cool.
yeah, yep.
That
That's
is
cool.
cool. Yeah, I didn't expect that answer. That to go around to that.
You didn't trip me up, brother.
No.
No, no,
No.
we get some interesting ones. That one got me there. Well, let's talk Tombstone. I mean, it's very
Yeah,
obvious that Marshall Briggs, why you connect to multiple characters in this movie and themes of this movie.
Right.
Beautiful movie. What year was this, Dave? Do you remember?
1995.
Ah, there we go. 95. Of course you would know. It's obvious you're a fan. I've seen this movie multiple times, but this time I watched a little deeper and I just, when he grabs the peacemaker and it's like, uh-huh, I see you,
Yeah.
Briggs.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yep.
funny.
so folks, if you haven't seen the movie Tombstone, it is considered probably on the top of most people's must-watch list. It's one I have seen multiple times. It is the story of Wyatt Earp, starring Kurt Russell, the immortal Sam Elliott, Bill
He
Paxton.
is an immortal.
Yeah, he is.
Man does not age.
There's a long list of actors in this movie,
It's
but
it's Kurt Russell, Bill Paxton,
Val
Billy
Kilmer.
Bob Thornton is in
Val
there. I don't know if you
Kilmer, yeah,
picked him
Billy,
out.
yes, as the guy at the beginning, the dealer,
The
wasn't he?
guy,
The
you
guy
gonna
who's
do
slapping
something
everybody
or stand
around.
there and bleed?
Yeah.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
Wow, Powers Booth.
Somehow Sam Elliott looked the same in '95 as he does today. Don't know
I
how
know,
he's doing
right?
that, but yeah,
I forgot
a lot of
Charlton Heston
people.
makes a small appearance
Yes.
in
Charlton
it too.
Heston. A lot of
Yeah.
people that weren't even stars yet are in this movie.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah. This is I kind of have an idea, but you tell me in your words, what
In
is
your
it
own words.
that just sings to your soul about this movie? Why is it just damn, this is good.
I think just the story, and it's based off of real life, and that
Mhm.
ties in with wrestling. If you base something off of real life, you're going to connect with it.
Right.
And so, if you remember at the time, and younger kids won't remember this, but I remember Wyatt Earp, the movie, came out around the same time as Tombstone, and that had Kevin
Yeah.
Costner in it.
Yeah.
And Wyatt Earp was 2 VHS tapes. You had it like part 1 and part 2 because it was
Yeah.
like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
But Tombstone came out, and we had gone to Family Video, kids. This is back when you had to go to video stores to rent movies.
When you had to
And
rewind.
we had gone to Pizza Hut, and Pizza had one of my favorite pizzas. It was the Pizza Hut triple decker. It was a regular pizza, cheese pizza, and then pepperoni pizza on
I
top.
never heard of this monstrosity.
Pizza
It
Hut,
was a
bring it
feast.
back. We had got that, and we were watching this movie, and I just got drawn in because I was like, because I used to like westerns like John Wayne and
Yeah.
all that, but this movie was different because it was a newer movie. It wasn't old,
Right.
and so just the story, man. Like if you look at how, and I zero in on Wyatt Earp. I don't really pay too much attention to the brothers because they're secondary characters, in my opinion. But if you look at the character that Kurt Russell plays and how he metamorphoses through the whole film, he goes from being a good guy who just wants to retire, and then he gets drawn into this mess. And then he's the good guy who's out for revenge, and then he's a vigilante.
Right.
And then he's a good guy. So like that whole cycle and that story is really what drew me in.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes absolute sense.
It is a great story. Dave and I had talked a lot about it. It's because on the surface you have the historical aspects of Wyatt Earp, but dig a little deeper and you have a friendship story of Wyatt and Doc, and a love story of Wyatt and Josephine, and the tragedy of Wyatt and his wife. It is just all over it. But you know, you have chick flicks and then you have guy flicks, and this is definitely a guy flick. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's just so sounds weird. It's so manly.
It's funny.
You know, I went to Biloxi for a trip recently, and my better half was with me, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna pop this movie on." She hadn't seen Tombstone before, and I was like, "Hey, so watch this movie." And she's like, "Babe, I just want to listen to music." I was like, "No, watch this movie." Like it was, it was the first scene where the guy's like, "Y'all killed 2 cowboys."
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And she's just like, I was like, "Babe, if you don't watch this movie, we're gonna have." So she hasn't made it all the way through yet, but it is a guy movie for sure.
Really? What's funny is my wife's a little bit of the opposite. Her 2 favorite movies are Kelly's Heroes. I don't know if you've seen that or if you're familiar with it. Yep. Kelly's Heroes and Tombstone. Those are her 2 absolute favorite movies, except for Xanadu. She loves Xanadu too. So she loves the Three Stooges. So I got really lucky in my life.
I guess we'll give her a pass.
Yeah, but boy,
I think once she
Tombstone.
watches it through, she'll be hooked. You know.
Oh yeah.
It was a close second between Tombstone and Smokey and the Bandit. Those are my 2 favorite movies. So,
Smokey the Bandit's another great one for sure. But this one, hits on a lot of themes, a lot of. I mean, I can see how you took Wyatt Earp, and I know you're pulling from this character as Marshal Briggs, your sense of justice, and you're the law. And you see that turn in Kurt Russell when he's like, he's pretty much resigned. Screw it, give me the badge, I'm done. And now he just really turns that on. And it's you're right. I never really noticed the arc that Kurt takes through that because he's retired. But then when he goes and takes over that casino, the card table, the card game or whatever, he's not really doing things as a good guy. He did get rid of that, but he just became another person to take his cut of the business and stuff like that.
But he only took 25%.
Yeah, but we see a scene later on where they have cleaned out. They've got a mine. They have got property. It's like, okay, they've done more than retire. They're just nicer crooks at the time.
Yeah. And if you really thinking about it as you were talking, if you kind of look at the parallels of how the Earp family, how their whole story kind of molded and transitioned when they were in Tombstone, the CWF is kind of the same way. Like I started the CWF just wanting to I actually started. I just wanted to wrestle,
Hmm.
and then that opportunity left, and now I just want to run a company. So now I've got my casino, and then this
Nice.
can be great. So let's keep building. Now I have my land or my landmine, not my landmines. My
No, you don't want that.
I
No,
don't
no,
want
put that back.
those.
Put that back.
Maybe the cold medicine's kicking in, but
Yeah, there
no.
you go.
I have my gold mine, and so we're kind of following that same story arc. Um, you're right. A lot of Marshall Briggs is directly based off of Wyatt Earp
Right.
and a little bit of myself. So if you follow the story and you go back and follow Marshall Briggs' story, you'll see that that Briggs story is slowly playing out the Earp story over a couple of years now.
Right. Right.
So I
Yeah.
think before you guys got there, um, Briggs lost control of CWF. He lost a match, and he was no longer the owner.
Oh wow.
And that flipped the switch.
Mhm.
That's when Briggs went on a rampage. So that's the same time that they killed Morgan in Tombstone. That's when that switch flipped with Wyatt Earp,
Right.
and he
Right.
went on a rampage. I see a red sash, I kill the man wearing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're still in that stage for Briggs right now. Who attacked Briggs? What did I say? Everyone's a everyone's guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
So it's kind of the same story now. Is Briggs a good guy or a bad guy? We don't know. He's out for himself right now, and you guys alluded to that.
Yeah.
Briggs is Briggs.
Yeah,
And to pull off of the movie a little bit, and this really goes with Wyatt Earp as well, a vigilante like character,
Hmm.
who
hmm
still is kind of within the law. I see Briggs as a very gray character, not a heel, not a face, but no matter which side you're on, you're a character that people get behind. Um,
Yeah.
it's like I love Drew McIntyre. I don't care how much of an asshole he becomes. I will still always cheer for him. It's just
yeah.
hard when he's against people I like too. So it's like, okay, we'll go where it is. A heel's a heel, but you've got a neutrality around you, not necessarily neutrality, but it's just a transcendence where people don't always boo you. Like Colt Manson when he came out, my God,
He
nobody
gets
let him have
booed.
a word in Crestview, which was great.
Yeah,
Which is great. He
I
just
love
instant
that.
heat, and it was
And,
Yeah,
perfect. And he
and I
plays it.
drew
He played it.
and I drew the parallel for Colt and Ocho. He's almost at the level of arguing with the kids like Ocho was. I swear if he pushes that just a little bit, if he can just
yeah.
turn that around a little bit more, he'll be right in there with the
Well,
the am not, you are double,
and
you know.
yeah, and we got to fill that void now because the kids love Ocho, and whenever
Yeah.
he comes back, who's going to boo him
Yeah.
except maybe Sims?
Yeah.
But I mean, Mama Sims will cheer him.
Well, I was gonna
So,
say Mama Cheerson's likes him.
Random
but
question. You ever get Mama sends him in the ring?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Listen,
My
I
dream is
got
to
hurt.
watch to get Sims into the ring and he's losing and she jumps in and just body slams somebody. I don't know who, I don't know what when, but that's I keep waiting for it. I'm like, nope, she hasn't jumped the
she
yet.
she is one of our best fans, and I've told her you add
Oh
so
my
much to
God.
our production, like
She
it's crazy.
does. She
Yeah,
She
does.
does.
We have talked about her so much every time we're there because she is so invested
Mhm.
and she gives so much to it, and it's just like awesome. Awesome. So we're
Yeah.
like, one
yeah.
day she's going in.
One day she's
Hey,
gonna body slam somebody.
anything can happen at a CWF event. But
We have seen that.
what
Yeah,
I'll say is this though is like back to the Tombstone thing. Like,
right.
Yes.
um, it really ties in with a wrestling character. Like a good heel will always believe they're in the right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
believe they're doing the right thing.
They're not a bad guy.
They're not a bad in
Not
their
in their
mind. They're
own
not a bad guy,
not in
right?
their own
So
movie. They're not the bad guy.
Marshall Briggs attacking Jack, he had that shit coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Marshall Briggs dropping Jay. Don't put your effing hands on me, bro. Like
Right. Right.
that's in Briggs's mind. He's not wrong. Now
No.
Briggs has always said, and this is consistent through the whole character, I will always do what's right for the CWF. He's always said that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I feel like for the most part, he's stuck to that. Um, if you guys go back to Flow Enterprise,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
You're
Flow Enterprise morphed into the Enterprise because it was the best thing for the business in Briggs' mind. So that kind of goes
Makes
with
sense.
the flip side of things with Tombstone when the Cowboys joined with the sheriff
Right. Right.
and he deputized all the Cowboys because it was out of convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
So there's
weasel.
a lot of parallels, and there's people, Briggs is a ripoff of Undertaker. I've had fans during my entrance. You're not the Undertaker. I was like, you're damn right, I'm not.
I've
But I'm
heard
glad,
that.
But you know what though? This is how I take it.
Right.
If seeing me makes you think of him, then I'm doing something right.
That's correct.
Because
Exactly.
at least you're thinking something.
At least they
But
responded, right?
at least they responded. But if you look at Briggs, the lightning directly pulls from the scene from Tombstone I got the lightning from is right after they killed Morgan. And
Yeah.
one of the best scenes of the movie where he's out in the pouring rain and he's just
Mhm.
losing his mind. And you can see he's mentally not there.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
there? Thunder, lightning strikes. That is a pivotal moment in the movie. That is that symbolism and foreshadowing of, okay, shit's about to change now. It's
Yeah.
on. They
Look at
killed his
that.
little brother. So the Briggs entrance theme, it ties in with that. And it also ties in with you called down the thunder. Well, now you got it.
Yeah.
So if Briggs comes out, someone has called down the thunder, boom, lightning strike. That's why that entrance is the way it
It's
is.
brilliant.
It's perfect. It hits what
Brilliant.
right with that moment. The crowd
Yeah.
knows is like, oh crap, something's about to go down.
And the
Briggs-
back of the shirt is a straight quote from the movie.
Yeah.
And hell followed with
That's
him.
what
And
you
it's from the
said the other
Bible.
day, Scott,
Yeah.
when we were
Yeah.
talking about this. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
It's funny because as soon as you say the movie that you liked that you wanted to watch, everything fell together for Marshall Briggs. I was like, okay, the cowboy hat, the trench coat, it's yes, that's it. That's where you're, and it's perfect because nobody, if you're not paying attention, and people who don't watch this show will still maybe not put it together. But if somebody said Marshall Briggs's favorite movie is Tombstone,
Oh, it
everyone
was
will
just
go,
like
of course it is. What else would it be? You
Yeah.
know?
And so that's the key, like with new guys, when they're trying to come up with a character, and there's been multiple people even that don't work with us that have
Uh-huh.
asked me, hey, what's your idea for a character? And it's like, okay, what is something that you like but also represents you?
Right.
So in Tombstone, Wyatt and all of his brothers wore the Old West Undertaker style hats with the
Right.
flat brim and the
Mhm.
curved top. Briggs wears 90% of the time Justin brand hats,
Mhm.
and they're usually white painted straw. Unless I'm a bad guy, it'll be a black or a brown hat.
Right.
And because
smart.
I put the detail into the character of bad guys don't wear white hats. That's
Right.
old school.
Mhm.
So it's those little details. And I'll point something else out to you guys. Typically, Briggs only wears the brown trench coat when he's going into a fight, like when it's a big match. I only break that out for big matches.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, how could I miss that? I am
Now
not a
we're gonna
detective.
know. Now
I
we're
am
gonna
not
know
a
it's down.
detective. That's
Now
for
you
damn
know.
sure.
So like there's small little details out, little Easter eggs out there. And it's really just kind of like a lead by example, like, hey guys, I may not ever be signed, may not have ever been signed, don't run a big school, but
Mhm.
I'm a student of the game. This is what I've learned. This is what I know works in our area. This is what I think is best.
Right.
So,
Right.
one guy asked me, I'm not going to mention his name, he's like, hey, I've got these little pop rock things that I want to use for my entrance. I'm going to throw them down. They're going to make noise. I'm like, okay, that's great. What does that do for your character?
Mhm.
I'm like, well, what do you mean? I was like, how does that relate to you? If anything, it's going to take focus off of you and to the cheap fireworks off to the side. So you want to be the focus of your entrance. This is what makes your money. This is what people
Right.
pay attention to. So if you're going to make tweaks, make it to yourself. So like with the merch, the Briggs, some of the
Mhm.
stuff is designed specifically so when Tim hits the lights, it reflects a certain way,
Right. Right.
and the
Wow.
lighting hits a certain way. It's I think this stuff out because I'm like, how can I make this character matter to these people?
Mhm.
That's all that we're trying to do is make it matter. And so lead by example is the biggest thing. Like I'm 40, so I'm in pretty good shape for a 40-year-old, I like to
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
So like if I'm able to still work out and go to the gym and all that stuff, then
Right.
these younger guys that are on our roster, do the same thing. I'm twice your age. Like,
Yeah.
do the same thing.
Mhm.
Pay attention to little stuff. Like I just told you guys, if Briggs is wearing a white coat without the sleeves, maybe something big's going to happen. But if he's wearing a brown trench coat,
It's definitely
some
going
shit's
down.
about to go down.
Definitely, yeah, okay.
So little stuff like that, guys, and it really it does. You'll know when the end of Briggs's career is near if you watch the movie Tombstone and you see how that movie ends.
Right. Right.
I'll
Okay,
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So who would be going off of that? Who would be your Doc Holliday? Who would be Marshall Briggs's Doc Holliday as of right now? Or has Doc Holliday showed up in your storyline yet?
You may have got me with that question.
Damn.
Well, when you say
Who
the
would
end,
be
how it ends, I mean,
right?
yes, he goes off into the sunset, but before that, Doc Holliday comes in.
So you actually,
Did I get you thinking?
either of you correct me if I'm wrong, but because Tombstone is only about the one portion of the Earp family's life. There's
Yeah.
actually a fourth brother that isn't discussed in Tombstone.
Right.
I think Doc and the Wyatts, Doc and the Earps had beef
Well, we
back
just
in the
got
day.
weird.
Yeah, right. I think Doc and the Earps had beef back in the day. I don't think they
Right.
always saw eye to eye. I would say it's probably at this point my Doc would probably be Sims because he's my biggest nemesis right now, but he's also
Right.
been my biggest ally.
Right. Right.
I can't stand his ass right now, though, to be honest. But like, I would say it would probably be Sims at this point.
Right.
It could also. It's looking like it could be. Depending how things play out, it could be Colt. He's one of my biggest pains in the asses right now too. So
And Colt would kind of make sense too.
maybe,
He's got the name.
Maybe.
maybe
He's got the look. I
He's
can
got the
see
look.
that. I could see
Uh,
I
that.
think he's made after some video game I alluded to earlier at a previous event, but
I think
it
you
could
might be right.
it could be Flo. Like Marshall Briggs and Justin
given
Flo
the
have a lot of
history.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the short time that we've been going, we've seen it go from Flow Enterprises to Enterprise, and then just all of that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got to say, like, and I'm not really too big in publicly bloating people's egos, but I don't know if you guys are there when Flo started with us, but he has come so far from
I
his
think-
first match in CWF to where he is now.
I think I started
And-
coming in a little bit after Scott. And
Yeah, and
it's
Flo
been a
had been
few
there
years.
a
We've been there
while
for
when
a
I
few
came in.
years. I know
Yeah.
he was there before I got there, and it was
Yeah.
Flow Enterprises when I showed up.
Yeah.
So, and I
So
think that had just been happening for a little while before.
He started when I first got them there. He was in a tag team with a kid, Michael Walker, I think his name is. He
Mhm.
has a big afro, and it was the Flying Fro was a tag team name I came up with for
Oh
them.
my God.
Nice.
And I didn't know what Flo had to offer. He was fairly young in the business still, working
Right.
for Spartan, which he still works for Spartan.
Mhm.
But he got there, and I'll tell you what, man, like that kid he's not a kid. That dude drives like 6 hours, I think, after working a shift to come
geez.
to our events. And sometimes he misses call time, but he's always the last one to leave.
Right.
Always the last one to leave.
Right.
He's one of the most reliable guys we have on the roster, and that's a big thing too. Like we were talking about creative earlier.
Mhm.
Independent wrestling is so hard to find reliability sometimes,
I
and
bet.
typically, I build our calendar a year out in advance just to book the venue and try to plan
Oh,
because
wow.
I require our talent to give me at least a 3-month commitment. So that's 2 voltages and one of our PLEs, so to speak. So I want to be able to tell a story, let the fans have something to invest in you as a character,
Mhm.
and to tell an end to that story. So sometimes it's hard to get people to commit. And I've turned people away. Hey, if you can't do 3 consecutive events and, come back to me when you can. And it's not an arrogance thing. It's we have to have continuity.
Right.
So
You have a story to tell.
we have a story to tell, which is part of the reason why the end of Standoff went the way it was, because some things happened. Again, there's no heat, but some things happened where there wasn't going to be continuity. So we have to make this pivot.
Mhm.
I never, ever, ever wanted Briggs to be the world champion. ever.
Mhm.
That was never in the cards. I still don't want to be the world champion. But if it's what the right thing is for the businesses to do, then we'll find a way to work through it.
Well,
And
I
it
can
damn
hardly
sure ain't
wait to
going to
see who takes
Sims.
that belt.
It ain't going to be Sims, I'll tell you that.
Well, I got to say something about Sims. He's actually our next interview, and I was talking to him yesterday,
Oh,
and he
you
said,
guys are going to lower your standards for him
"Yeah,
after
we
me?
had we were equal opportunity." And I said, "Hey, we're talking to Ben tonight," and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So yeah, I guess it looks like the feeling's mutual.
Whatever. Whatever. Whatever.
So,
I hope you get a lot of good shots from behind the Circle K where he hangs out, like I said last month.
Oh, shots fired.
So, yeah. hmm Bring it on.
to get back to the movie, what are only because
Bring us
while we're
back,
here,
Dave.
I like to try and keep a nice little segue, smooth,
Yeah.
hardly
Yeah.
notice. What's where I'm dying here? Forgive me, folks. Back in the movie, what's one of your favorite scenes that like just in general? It doesn't have to be one of the shootouts or whatever. It might be an emotional scene like when Wyatt's found out his brother's been killed. Like what's one of the moments that just sticks out to you and you're like, that's why I love this movie. That right there is why I love these characters.
I will give you one line and see if you guys can figure out the scene. Make no mistake, it's not the revenge he's after, it's the reckoning.
Yeah.
What scene is that? I'm quizzing you guys now. What scene is that?
No,
That's
that's
when
Doc.
they're like cleaning up at the campfire, right? And he's like, why is he's asking, I think he's asking Doc. Doc
Yep.
Holliday says
So
that line. And I
it was
forgot who the character is who asks him.
it was after the firefight, after they
Yeah.
had killed Morgan and they were hunting down the cowboys.
Yeah.
And they were pinned down, and Curly Bill Brocious was like, "Hey, Wyatt, something, something, something. Is this the firefight you want?" or whatever he said.
Right.
Is this where he just walks out?
He just walks out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy crap, yes.
He locks and loads, and he's like, "No," and then he goes
Yeah.
out. The coolest part about that scene is it really happened in real life. Wyatt Earp never got shot in his entire career
Right.
as a lawman or his
Damn.
entire life. And for something like that to really unfold and him not be shot is insane.
It is.
And so one of his trademarks, I don't know if people know this, but this is how deep I've dug into this character in this movie. When he turned into a vigilante, the
Mhm.
way they could tell who Wyatt Earp killed was he shot both barrels of the shotgun.
Oh, geez.
So in the movie, when he kills Curly Bill, he
Mhm.
pulls both triggers and blows him away.
Oh,
And so that was his trademark of they knew Wyatt did it.
Right.
damn.
Right.
So when he was on the run and that whole redemption run they did,
Mhm.
that's how they knew it was him. So that's my favorite scene because that really kind of ties in. It's the crescendo, even though they still had some more cleaning up to do, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Yeah.
That was a scene where it all comes home and you can see it's hitting him like they killed my brother, they've crippled my big brother,
Mhm.
my wife is gone. All I have left is these guys behind me.
Yeah.
And at the time, if you remember, Doc's tuberculosis was acting up. So I'm
Mhm.
sorry, not Doc.
Yeah.
Doc's
Doc.
he was starting to cough up blood, and Wyatt's like, "No, we're not going out like this."
Mhm.
And he nuts up, locks and loads, and goes and takes care of business. And if that's not a representation of how I look at life,
Mhm.
I don't know what is. Um, Life's going to throw you hardball sometimes. There's going to be a lot of shit you're going to go through, and you just sometimes you got to say, "No, this ain't going to work this way. This ain't how we're going out. I'm going to go take control of the situation." And that's what he did. And that's why I love that scene.
That's a
It's a
great
great scene, and
That is a great
wow.
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
I will say for me, the scene it does it for me is more on a cinematography aspect, and it is when they're at the OK Corral and all the close, tight shots
Yeah.
before the bullets start flying. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you could cut the tension with a knife in there. It's just so well shot. The whole movie's well shot.
And you see how close those guys were. They were probably even
Mhm.
closer in real life, but
And the thing
close
is,
in that
is
movie.
the wink from Doc Holliday triggered it
Yes.
all.
Yes. They're like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
That guy
They
knows
knew
he's
it.
the first one to go.
Yeah, they knew Doc was
Yeah.
going. Oh.
But you know what really sticks out to me about that scene is Josephine is in that place off to the left after
Yeah,
Ike
she's not
Clanton
even
runs
getting
in
out
They
of
there.
have a
the way.
photo taken
She's
of her.
just standing by the mirror. I'm like, okay, that's Hollywood.
You
Yeah.
need to get your ass down, woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was just
Right.
standing there.
But that's when you also have your heel turn of the sheriff,
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
right? And so you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, so now I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when they turned the Earps back babyface.
Mhm.
Actually, no, they were still babyface then because
Yeah.
they were just trying to disarm him, right?
Yeah.
If I'm remembering
Yeah.
They're
right.
just telling him to
You,
drop the
you know,
weapon.
the more wrestling I watch and the more movies I watch, the more I start seeing the face and heel turns, thanks to Donnie Harris Jr. referring to every movie as a wrestling movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes,
he's
you're
right.
right. It's actually you can see it because, and that's what you guys do in the ring. You're hitting those beats. You're hitting those notes to tell a story.
If you're telling stories, and that's the thing, like, and I say at every single event, less is more. Like, you can go out there and do 50 different flips and moves and all that stuff, but then if there's no meaning behind it, fans are going to sit on their hands because they've seen it every match. They can watch it 4 times a week on TV,
Yep.
Right.
and there's no meaning behind it. One thing Undertaker said, and I do listen to him a lot because he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
One thing he said about the way that he worked is if you watch all of his matches, even as Big Evil and the American Badass,
Mhm.
he works a slow, methodical pace.
Mm-hmm.
But then what do you get out of nowhere? Bam, bam. And you're just like, oh shit, what was that? What did he just do? Because now he's got your attention. He lures you in
Right.
Yeah.
and then
Right.
some quick strikes. And you're just like, oh, wait a minute. And in my match with Colt that we just had, and I've done this in quite a few of my matches, if you watch, we'll have a double down spot.
Mhm.
And I picked this up from Shawn Michaels, where you're down and the ref's counting, and I will just lay there and I'm just listening. And what
Mhm.
I'm waiting for is usually if you time it right in your match, you'll hit that spot when they're about halfway.
All right.
You'll have your double down. And then what I'm listening for, if it was on a graph, is they're just kind of, I'm listening.
Okay.
When you get to that awkward silence of, are they like, what's going on here?
Right.
That's when you go. Because now they're drawn in because they're laying there and they're getting quiet because they're starting to be like, wait a minute, what's happening?
Right.
That's when you start to do that small movement, whether you twitch a finger or you twitch a leg
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
move your head. And if you watch any of my matches back, I will typically do that. And I'm listening to the crowd.
Mhm.
And then whoever I'm working with will be like, wait. And it's the hardest thing to do because you want to go.
Right. Right.
But it's just like, nope, wait. Okay, go. And that's when we start to go. And it's that
Nice.
ride that you take the fans on. And if you do stuff like that, if you watch my matches, punches, kicks, a couple suplexes,
Mhm.
number one, because I can't do much more than that at this point. Number two, I don't want to do much more than that at this point.
Right.
But number three, it's an easy night. And you don't have to do all this crazy shit
Right.
to get a reaction. Because listen, like, and I've told Jay this before, I was like, you're a tremendous athlete.
Mhm.
But if you do all this high flying stuff, every show you do it, now you have to top that the next event.
Right.
And then you have to top that. But if you save that and put it in your back pocket until you need it, they know you can do it.
Mhm.
But if you don't let them see it all the time, it means that much more.
And everybody's
Mhm.
waiting for it. Everybody
they're
wants to
waiting
see
for
it.
it.
Everyone wants to see it even more. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
you give your bad guy you're working something to work off of, right? So like we know that Jay likes to do the splash off the top.
Right.
If he's going up there and that he's getting ready to go and that bad guy or that outside interference
Yeah.
comes and cuts it off, now
Yeah.
the crowd's pissed because you took it away from him.
Exactly.
It's psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's like the movie. The movie is designed
Yep.
to take you on a journey, and so
Right.
are your matches. And I
Yeah.
say this every podcast. I love to be manipulated. I go to the matches to
Yeah.
feel something.
Yeah.
Because, and I've heard you say this as well, and I think a lot of people think this is, I enjoy wrestling because I like to escape the
Mhm.
reality. The world's got some shitty stuff going on, so I want to just go unplug and just watch a bunch of guys beat each other up and make me forget about troubles for a while. And honestly, it brings me back as a kid. And it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's just those moments, man. It's just so much. it's pulling the emotion. The fact that you guys sit there and listen and you're hearing the crowd. A lot of people, I promise you, do not understand what a professional wrestler does, because I envision this as an actor, a stuntman, and an athlete all rolled into one. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a
That's
lot. I can
a lot.
act.
Yeah.
I'm not an athlete. So,
And so something that stood out to me, and not to take it down again, but real quickly, I'll just say when we went to Van's funeral service,
Mhm.
um, something his dad said, one of the first things he said when he was eulogizing his 20-something-year-old son was, wrestling is what Van loved. And he's like, Van loved the CWF because we gave him the chance to live his dream.
Oh,
And he
man.
put it in a context I never thought of before. He goes, I took my son to a WrestleMania 17, and I saw 18, and I saw the way he looked at Hogan and Rock when they came out,
Mhm.
like they were larger than life.
mhm.
And then I went to watch my son wrestle his first match at CWF, and little kids looked at him the way that he looked at Hogan and Rock.
Oh,
And so I tell our guys that, I'm like, look, we may be an independent promotion we could have 100 people, we could have 300 people, we could have 1,700 people, which is our largest crowd.
mhm.
But the fact is, those kids don't know any different.
Right.
They
No.
don't.
All right.
And I've told Dave this before, is one of my favorite things of going to the CWF matches is watching the kids. My
Yeah.
God, they have so much fun, and they're 100% invested. They buy in all the freaking way, and they
Absolutely.
bring the energy. That's needed. It's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, and it's a cool thing, like to have, friends and family that aren't even wrestling fans come to our live events and they get drawn in. I'm like, dude, I hate watching baseball on TV, but if you take me to a Blue Wahoos game or
Oh yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm the
drawn
same
in,
way.
right? And so the first show that we brought the little one to, she didn't like loud noises, so she had little headphones on,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But she's like, is he okay? Are they really hurting him?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
but once she
great.
figured out what it was, and I was still going to be able to walk and hug you afterwards,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she loves it. Like
Yeah.
she loves it. And it's like a lot of kids are like that. They may even not like wrestling, but they come to our shows, they have a blast. We load them up with sugar, parents at concessions.
There you go.
And you know, they
It's
just
evident.
have a blast. And that's what makes it worth it. That, and the fact that, a lot of our fans, we wouldn't be where we are at here if we didn't have the loyal fans here in Milton, because this area was dead for a while.
Right. Right.
And we've brought a lot of it back. And we've hit Pensacola, Milton. We're in Crestview now. We may try some other places in the future that reach out to us. But the fact that we can, like you said earlier, Scott, like let these people escape all the shitty stuff happening in the world right now,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and understand, some of these people, guys, are deciding between, because I've done the demographics of our fan base, right?
Mhm.
That's what a smart businessman does. Some of these people that come to our shows, they're deciding between food, gas, or coming to watch the CWF.
Oh damn.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're making that decision to come watch us. So that's why we're going to put on the best show that we can, escape that reality and make you have the best bang for your buck.
Well, you put on a hell of a show, and I've said that from day one. I mean, the first time we did the show, the post show, we were both just so impressed with everybody and everything. It's like, I can't believe these guys do this for entertainment's sake.
Yeah.
And then get up and go do it again somewhere else, or come
Yeah.
back the following month. It's like, and it's all stuntman work. It's all acting. And for anybody, what ticks me off is when people go, "Oh no, it's all fake." It's like, you get slapped across the chest, you get thrown down on the ground, you get thrown out of a ring. See how fake it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Controlled
I like
to an extent, but it's
I
not.
like to tell people, oh, wrestling's fake. I'm like, is it? You can't fake gravity.
Yeah.
No, you
Right.
cannot.
Like,
No.
you can't fake Chris Mason slamming into you, and
God, no.
a fact that a lot of people don't know, and if you go to a good wrestling show, you'll learn this. Every bump in the ring that you take
Mhm.
is the equivalent to a head-on collision at 30 miles an hour in a car. It has been scientifically proven.
Oh
That's a
yeah.
lot.
And so that's why I tell our younger guys, we have bump cards, and you don't know how many punches are in your bump card. So take smart bumps.
Right.
They're
Mhm.
limited. There's people, it really used to piss me off. Oh, wrestling's fake. Why do you watch that fix? I'm like, why do you watch Walking Dead? How many zombies are on the street right now?
Right.
Yeah. Or ER. They're not really doctors.
Or ER.
We don't care.
How many 15-mile runways that you see in Fast and Furious have you come
Oh
across?
my God, of all things.
Like-
Dude, I have to stop you there. When it comes to, I'm a fan of Fast and Furious. I love the franchise. It's family, brother. But that scene where they're on that runway after that cargo plane, dude, it's 30 minutes.
And as a person that's worked on aircraft my whole adult life,
Right.
I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. That movie, was it 2020 where it was the end of the world or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever, like this C-130 or C-17 just doing all these like F-15 moves. I'm like, dude, the wing box would break on that thing, and that thing would be like, there's no way this is possible. So, but that's the thing. I'm like, so you will buy into all of this stuff, but you'll try to denigrate what these guys do, where people have died in the ring. Like, NFL has an off season. I've got turf toe. I can't. Okay, we're hurt. We still go to work.
Right.
Boxing. How many fights do they have a year in boxing?
Yeah.
Same with UFC.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at some of the guys who have, really paid the price. Steve Austin was paralyzed. How many times has Triple H blown his quads out? Brian Pillman, Owen Hart, Undertaker wrestled with a freaking flak jacket on because he had every rib broken, and he went and wrestled a match. That's dedication. And so it used to piss me off, people saying it was fake. But like Taker said before in an interview, I 100% agree. I know what I do. I know what our guys do. I know our fans appreciate it. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And everybody else, you can talk about what we do, but guess what? You ain't being quiet about it. You're still talking about us.
Yeah.
So, it's like,
there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why I love what you guys do, because I've watched and I have sat there and tried to figure out the secrets. I have tried to, it's like, I've said it before. It's like watching a magic trick and trying to figure out the magic trick, but I don't really want to know because I have so much vested at the time, like I don't really want to know, but I kind of want to know. But would that ruin it if I knew? Wouldn't I just I blank all that out when I'm watching Sims in the ring pulling, somebody off the corner because he just wants to be a bad guy again. It's like, oh, this is freaking great.
Well, no, let's be honest. Sims is a rotten person in real life too. Don't let that. I told Mama Sims, like, I don't know where you went wrong, but your son's a jackass. So we'll just.
Well, it's bad. He's bad whenever his mama starts cheering you.
And hugs me in front of him.
Yes.
In front of him while you're getting ready to fight. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I hope he sees this, and I hope he says something on the 25th about it. So bring it on, Sims.
Just curious, like, how does that make you feel?
Nobody cares how he feels. He has no friends.
I've been enjoying Sims' arc right now, or whatever path he's on. It is a path.
It's a dark path.
Yeah, but right behind the Circle K, as you said. So
absolutely, he's a junkie.
Circle K.
Whichever one's closest to where he is at that particular time.
There you go. Yeah, $20 is $20, and that's I'll believe it at that. Sorry, Dave.
I
just
say that.
The moment. We'll just.
I'm just gonna, I will say about him. There's he's paid a lot of dues, and if you watch his work, he'll go the extra length. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy, but he'll leave everything he has in the ring. Very rarely is he ever a person to say, no, I'm not going to do that for this person. He has no problem. If you look at how he works with Ocho, it's amazing. And I can't wait for Ocho to get his get those receipts back to Sims.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see that. I remember the whole fandom is waiting for that.
I remember watching that show and I was blown away because I swear to God, there was a few of those hits. I was waiting for somebody to come through in an ambulance and just take Ocho out. I was like, holy crap. He had to hurt the next day. He had to be in so much pain the next day.
We haven't seen him since. So
no, he's in a lot of pain. He's in a
lot of pain. But I will say this: I don't know when this is going to post, but You may see Jay get some revenge on Sims in the very near future. So I'll
Oh
just say
yeah,
that.
All right, all
I
right.
could see that happening. He's
Yeah.
messed with Jay for no
I
reason
will be
quite a few
posting this
times so
probably
far.
before the next show, for
Yeah.
All right. Well,
sure.
there we go. So buy a
There we
ticket
go.
now.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
Marshall, would you like to you have anything you want to say to anybody? Anything you want to shout out?
Hmm. Colt Manson, you're still a bitch ass is the first thing I want to get out there. Because he is, and I hate him, and I'll never be his friend. Sims, I'll never be your friend either. Um, Ocho, wherever you're at, hope you come back soon. Hope to see you remind Sims that he's a bitch. And then I do want to say a couple of things though. Like first and foremost, this company has come so far,
Mhm.
and we are fully aware that. And I'm not just sucking up to the fans. This is the damn truth. We are fully aware that this company wouldn't be where it is and where we anticipate it going without our fans that still show up
Right.
regardless. We were the first promotion to run a live event after COVID. We were.
Wow.
Really?
We maxed what the county would allow us to have in the venue with fans that still came to see us. And we
Mhm.
appreciate that. Crestview loves, we love doing Crestview. We'll be there more often.
Mhm.
You have welcomed us with open arms. Um, we can't be thankful enough with our fans, with our community partners. The San Jose County
Mhm.
Chamber of Commerce has been tremendous. Jim and Jamie, I got to say, and Mike have been absolutely tremendous for us, and they've been a mentor for me as a business owner to try to grow and become a good member. Not a good member, but even more established member in our local community, which is
Right.
great. But I will say, we appreciate you guys sticking with us and sticking with the CWF. Keep watching. There's more good to come. Keep watching this pod because
Oh,
these
thank you.
guys, I've watched these guys grow and just from doing reviews for us, we'd even ask for. And just doing what you can to help us out. We
Mhm.
greatly appreciate it. So we are more than happy and honored to have you guys as a part of our events as well, pre and post show. So thank you
Well,
for that
thank
as
you.
well. Um,
That's very welcome. Thank you very much.
yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. Last thing I will say is all of our tickets can be purchased online at cwfe.eventbrite.com or go through our Facebook page and you can do that as well, or you
Mhm.
can purchase them at the door. So come out to our live events. You'll have a good time. It's kid friendly. It'll be
Yeah.
a blast, and we hope to see you there. So thank you so much.
Kids are
Yeah,
gonna love
it always is a good time. It is always, as
it.
we say constantly, it's the best bang for your buck in the area,
Yeah,
especially if you're a
absolutely.
fan. We see the same people every month, and it's awesome. The CWF has got quite a loyal fan base because all I
Mhm.
got to do is look at that front row, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the same people.
Yeah.
We're all next to each other every single month, and it's awesome. And we started to grow our connections with people as well because it's like I see you again every month. So it's definitely something to go out and check, folks.
Mhm.
A lot of fun.
Um, One last thing, sorry,
No,
No,
go right
please.
ahead.
that I did want to say.
You're the boss.
I'm gonna, I'm not the boss here. I'm gonna take the Marshall Briggs hat off for a second, not my
Right.
whole head, just the hat. But I just want to say again, I said we wouldn't be where we are without the fans.
Mhm.
Also, our talent that we have,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
especially our current roster. We have one of the best rosters we've had in quite some time. And if you're watching this, which hopefully you will, if you stuck with it this long, I know this went long, like all my matches and promos. We talk about it all the time, but I appreciate you guys, all of our talent. You guys come out there, you bust your ass, you give our locker room a positive vibe,
Mhm.
especially our longtime guys like Romano and Mason and Flo. You guys
Yeah.
have stuck with us for a long time, and our new guys that come in and bring that new energy. We appreciate you. And I know sometimes I'm hard on you guys. Sometimes I may be an asshole. Sometimes I may be hard to deal with. Some of you may think I run the CWF like the military,
Mhm.
but that's what I think works. And
Mhm.
so I appreciate you. I don't say it enough. I appreciate you. I know Tim appreciates you, and the rest of the management team appreciates you guys. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming around. Keep pushing to achieve whatever that dream is, whether it's WWE, whether it's NWA, TNA, AEW, ROH, or if you're happy being on the indies, whatever your dream is, keep chasing it. Don't stop when you hit a wall, kick that door down and keep going. So I just want to get that out to the guys.
Oh, great advice, and I'm glad you
Absolutely.
did, because yeah, we wouldn't have any CWF without the talent.
No.
Right. I'd be really tired by now.
Yeah.
You would. It's like, hey, we got Briggs again. This is the 20th time he's fought tonight.
Oh,
It's hard to
Briggs and
wrestle
Sims
yourself.
for the 3,000th time. Yeah.
These two assholes again. All right. So, Marshall, thank you so much for coming on. We really enjoyed having you, and we
Yeah.
will definitely have you back on, because I know there is so much I didn't get to ask, and there's so many more stories to be told
Yeah,
as well.
that's gonna be nice too. Love the stories.
Yes. Yes,
Love
and
it.
we'll have
Thank
to
you,
talk
guys.
about another movie. So thanks again for
Yeah.
coming. Folks, if you like our podcast, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and definitely go check out the CWF in Milton, Crestview, Pensacola, wherever they are at. So we will catch you next week.
Absolutely.